when I post or share pictures of and kind of show you again. Hi guys! Today I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite types of photography, and that's long exposure photography. Basically what that is when the shutter in your camera stays open for a longer amount of time and it takes in all the light and motion and everything that's happening in front of the camera in that one shot. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't really know a lot about the camera as far as like your shutter speed and exposures and things like that, but that's why I wanted to make this video, was to kind of show you what happens inside your camera to give you a better idea for it. I'm actually going to be using, this is the very first camera that I bought out of high school. This is the one that I used when I had my darkroom. It's a 35mm film camera. It's obviously not the same as a DSLR, but it has a shutter and kind of the same functions as that camera. So I figured it would be a good example to show you how everything works. It seems like a lot of times when I post or share these types of pictures, I get a lot of people asking how it was done, what did you do to do that, that type of stuff. So I'm going to use this camera and show you the basic functions of what happens to your shutter and the camera when you're taking a long exposure shot. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so here's my camera. And I actually did a little bit of video with my DSLR, my digital camera too, so you can kind of reference that as well. But here's the camera, and if you go ahead and open up the back of it, you'll see we have the shutter, which keeps the light in and out of your camera, and the sensor, which actually makes and processes the pictures. So that's how those work together. And at the top of your camera, you have the dial, which on normal digital cameras, it's an auto, manual, sports mode, things like that. But for this camera, it has your shutter speed, and that tells you how fast or slow you want the shutter to open inside your camera. So these are all a fraction of a second, 1/500th of a second if I would stop moving it. So normally on a camera during the day, if it's really bright outside, when you take a picture, when you push the button at the top, you hear that click, and that's the shutter going off. And you can barely see it moving because, again, it is a fraction of a second. You can see the arms moving it on here. But that's how fast it is. It's just that fraction of a second. So once you start moving it down and slowing it down, you're getting into 1/4 of a second. 1 full second here. So right now I do have it set on 1 full second. So when I push it, it's going to stay open for 1 full second. 1 Mississippi. Just like that. And basically anything that's going to happen within that 1 second, it gets processed on the sensor. Just like that. The next setting you can do is what's called a bulb setting, and the bulb setting basically tells the camera to stay open until I tell it to shut. So you can open up the shutter and it's going to stay open until I click that button again. This could be still really quick. You can make it, just a fraction of a second if you wanted, or you could go ahead and keep it open for minutes at a time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, things like that. Another thing that I like to use is my remote, and it's the same function as the button at the top of your camera, and it's basically telling the shutter to open, stay open, and it's not going to shut until I hit this button again. So same thing, any light or movement or anything that's happening in front of the camera, it's going to get picked up on the sensor until the shutter closes. So let's say that I wanted to write my name and make my name into a picture. So basically what I would do is I'm going to open up the shutter on the camera so the sensor is exposed, like that. And then I'm going to point the flashlight at the camera, which is pointing it at the sensor, and I'm going to start writing my name. And I'm going to do each letter separately, T-O-N-I, so then once the shutter closes, the picture is processed into that. Another example is, say I had a watering can and I wanted it to look like water was coming out of it. I would, again, open up the shutter, whap my camera with the flashlight, and then light up the watering can and make little bits of light and motion and movement coming out from it. So once it processes and picks up for the camera, that's what it comes out like. So that's how the shutter and the sensor work together inside the camera. Alrighty, so that's the inside of your camera, that's your shutter, that's what it looks like when you're taking a picture and everything. So I really hope it helps you better understand a long exposure shot, and when you see one, you can actually say, hey, I know how that was done. I'm going to post some pictures along with this, and you can check out my website to see more examples of it. There's a blog post that I made to kind of break down settings and how different things, again, are made in that picture. I really hope this explains it a little bit better. I was thinking this is going to be extremely hard for, anybody that doesn't know a lot about cameras and stuff. If you have any questions or would like to know anything else, please feel free to ask. I really hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.